Alright, so who's gonna be casting?
It's just gonna be me today.
Alright.
Tagged hype, okay. The big visions is here. All right.
Ready,
So we are.
set,
This is just the warm up round
go.
for the second to last first round of playoff match here between our Open Division champion and Papa J, or sorry, Challenger Division champion Mystrox and Papa J here. I did play Misty on Sprawl as part of our warm up. Won that game by about 10-ish points. I don't remember. So definitely gonna be interested to see how Misty does against John here. I suspect nerves might come in a little bit more now that it's actually time for the game. But like I said, we were gonna have to see. Already up to a 9-point lead here for John. I'm gonna go pick up an expired just to extend that comp timer. Although Misty is gonna go pick up another gem. Next spawn's gonna be at the Mazic spawn. So John with a great blast to push Misty away from it, and we do have a blue here. And John first to react. Misty kind of struggling with the trigger finger a little bit there, and just doesn't quite get it off in time. 3 red's going to be left up top here. John wisely realizes and goes back for it. Misty forced to expend the blast there to try to get to the spawn, and wall hits there. Though John overshoots, both of them end up with the blast. John forced to use the gyrocopter here. Goes back for it, and Misty's going to pick up the super speed. Isn't going to get the blast, though. And another great blast by Jean to push Misty down, but Misty still able to get there first. Jean does swipe up the line from in front of him, though. And Misty wisely going to leave the last red here. He goes for the super speed. Spawn's going to be a repeat spawn, back same spot. Jean with a nice little swipe, but doesn't get any of the major value there. So the lead back down to 9 now. Misty and John playing for distance here, and it's going to reward. Honestly, it doesn't really reward either of them, to be honest. It was kind of in the middle between both of them. And Misty gets blasted again. He's been very prone to getting blasted this game, but does take the super speed, and John forces the next spawn without a power-up. It isn't going to hurt him, though, because Misty too slow to react again and kind of stumbles and hits the edge of a platform there. And forced to use the gyro here. Going to take the last red again. And John and the Mega Marble able to swipe up so much of that spawn as well. And the lead is 20 to John. Misty was a little concerned that John might be coming out ready to play today, and we are seeing that so far on Sprawl. John's got the Mega Marble again, but isn't going to get there very quickly, and the blast is going to force Misty towards the gems, so definitely a stroke of fortune there. Lead down to 11 now for John. They are going to take plenty of time off of this timer. They do leave 2 reds behind. It is an 11-point lead. Song's going to be back over the top of this little mound, and Misty messes up the timing on the blast. I don't know if Jean's blast actually affected him or not, but still able to get a little bit of value. Lead is 14 to John. We're heading into the last minute 20 here. The Magic Swan returns. And Misty going to get Mega Marbled. Is going to shove John, but John has the super speed to react to it in time and get the yellow anyway. So the lead's been fluctuating pretty much between about 10 and 20 this whole game for John. But very nice showing from him so far. Back across the map, opposite side of where Misty was trying to make distance. Does try to push John, but John recovers again very nicely. Misty going to be forced to start picking up a lot of these last reds. Of course, this is just a warm-up match, so no real pressure to win this one. But always nice to start your series off with a warm-up win, so I'm sure they're both going to be pushing for it very hard here. John overshoots. Misty able to swipe up a lot of that value there, and the super speed's going to come in handy there. Great wall hit. Able to scoop 2 of those yellows, and the lead shrinks to 3 almost instantly. Just back-to-back spawn wins there, and suddenly the lead is gone. John and Misty both racing off to this next spawn. John, with a great blast, is going to force Misty to pick up these last reds. Doesn't get a ton of value, and the next one's going to be right on top of John. That's going to be game over. Misty hits the ha-ha-ha and the good game. And that is an 8-point win for John on Sprawl here in the warm-up round. And we are going to be underway here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and start their match up in their thing. Playoff match. High seed John, low seed Mystrox. Playoff match. So we're going to see where they go first. John's going to have to pick between server and draft advantage. I'd imagine with them both being in Europe, it's going to be draft advantage for John here. I believe this was our actual only all Europe matchup in the first round as well. So certainly going to be interesting. John does end up picking draft advantage, so it's going to be Misty's turn to ban first. Our maps are Triumvirate, PCC, Gems Ahoy, Playground, and Gem Finding Folly. I'd imagine John is going to probably angle towards Playground, just with the Mega Marble play that's available there. And Misty wisely takes out Playground, which is going to leave us with Triumvirate, PCC. Triumvirate's gone. PCC, Gems Ahoy, Gem Finding Folly. I suspect between any of these maps, I think John would be happiest with... I think he'd be happiest with PCC, but at the same time, I think he'd be more favored to do well on Gems Ahoy, but Gems Ahoy is gone, and we are going to go to PCC here. So best of luck to both players here. This is one of the more hyped matchups. Hold on. All right. So we're going to stay in this server the entire time, which also means that we can have a lot less time spent trying to go between servers. Give them their little countdown, and we are off to the races in game 1 here. We do have a blue immediately to start us off. We're going to see how both these players want to route here. I'd imagine they're both going to go for the respawn abuse. Misty gets pushed down. It's actually going to push him faster towards the gem, and is able to blast John back away because he didn't use his blast. Unable to get up to this next spawn quickly, though. The elevator kind of trolled him there, but it is an all-red spawn, so it's not that devastating. 13-5 here to start out. John, once again, very quick to the next spawn, and Misty's going to fall down here. Is going to respawn down below, which honestly is probably better. We do have another blue here, and Misty's going to have a much better respawn spot for it. John was both slow to react and picked a bad spot to go out of bounds at. So lead is 10 to Mystrox here as we head into the next spawn. Next spawn split pretty evenly, despite the fact that John had a nice... blast play. Next spawn's gonna have a blue, and John goes for the edge hit, which I don't think I've ever seen pulled off before, and does actually land the edge hit, but had so much airtime it just didn't actually go very well. Leads 20 towards Mystrox. This is a map where John does have a bit of experience. Usually does pretty well on this map, so Should be able to turn this around, I'd imagine. Just needs a little bit more luck. The Blues are 3-0 in the favor of Misty, and that is not going to change here, as the next blue also goes to Misty. It's 4-0 on the Blues. I'd imagine this one also goes to Misty. Yes, it is 5-0 on the Blues. Everything else is split pretty much evenly. It is entirely those Blues that are cooking John here. John going to go for the respawn abuse, but Misty faster, and John gets a terrible respawning. Ends up down below. And Misty up 33. It's 68 to 35 here as we head into the last 3 minutes. Next blue, I suspect Misty doesn't have a blast, and John does. So that's going to be John's first blue of the game. Another blue down below. They split that one. So John looking... I mean, honestly, it's what's been cooking him most is just the blues. He's otherwise been pretty solid. That's unfortunate there. Just doesn't not go in the right direction. Next spawn's gonna be in the favor of Misty. John gonna go over the top for this one here. Might be able to land this one. Does land it. Lead is 30. It's 63 on the blues. Everything else is starting to open up in terms of the gap. And Misty, once again, very quick down here. Next one going to be directly above both players. Wisely go for the respawn abuse. Misty gets a slightly better respawn, but they're going to basically split the spawn, I'd imagine. But we do have a blue here, and John has the super jump. So able to get up to it and cut the lead back down again. Next spawn's going to be right where Misty was headed. So another Misty favorite spawn here. Lead is nearly 40. Misty in okay position, John in better position. Able to get up and take these reds. We have another blue down below. John gonna be there to it first and gets it alone, actually. So it's 6-5 on the blues, but unfortunately the rest of the spawns have evened out, and Misty gets a great spawn right in front of him down below with a blue. That is going to be almost certainly game over here in game one between these two players. And another spawn right down below. Misty having some very good fortune here in the last minute. Going to take those spawns, going to take those gems. Misty gets pushed away from the respawn abuse. John's going to get a better one, but go flying off, and Misty's going to be able to equalize all the value on that spawn. Doesn't take the last red, willing to let the clock run instead. That's probably smart, although I suspect it wouldn't matter much. I thought he was going to go for the edge hit there, but just goes for the blast instead. Fair enough. Willing to wait again. John takes the super speed, but Misty already had one anyway. And next spawn's going to be all the way back down below. The lead is 50 now, if you can believe it. John with a little whiff down there with the super speed. This has been just a great showing all around from Misty here. Not much else I can really say about it. John didn't particularly play terribly. He just was a little hesitant at first, and then Misty just, you know, secured a lot of the value of most of these spawns. So I wish I could see the full stats on this match, but I don't have the ability to do that. So final score 157-103 here. An absolute domination from Misty. At first it was just the blues, but then it turned into the other two and just completely flipped. So next maps are going to be between Spires, Marble City, Cubile, Marble It Up, and Nadir. And Spires and Marble City already gone. This is a very quick draft between Cubile and Nadir. If I'm Misty, I'm probably going Cubile. John's very solid at Nadir. Nadir was a pick that John made against Shadow Visions this year, which means to give you an idea of his comfortability on it. I'm not going to wish them luck because apparently my luck only went to Misty last time, so... it's dried up to that minute, cool. Alright. Give them their countdown.
Ready.
First one's going to be all the way across the map. I suspect we're going to see... Oh, we're actually going to see a little split and divergence between these two players here. John going to swipe up one red and then come respawn for the other one. They're both going to race over to this super speed. And the blue's going to be back behind John. Misty able to get the blue all to himself. A little unfortunate if you're John there. And John, I thought he was going to try to avoid the last red. Doesn't end up avoiding it at all and ends up grabbing it. But very fortunate the spawn kind of still favored him. Is going to go for that super speed denial. But Misty wisely knows there's another one over there. So able to go take that one instead. Next spawn's going to be right in front of both players. John does a great job of blasting Misty away from the yellow. But Misty with a nice recovery to get everything back. But John does tie it up here. This is a map that goes by very quickly when you're actually playing it. So definitely important to build an early lead on this map because it just feels like it's just such a sprint of a map compared to most others. And John gonna go back for 2 of these reds here, tie the game back up, is gonna leave that one to expire, allow the clock to run down, and the next spawn's gonna be back in the far corner. No blue here though. John does miss the yellow, is able to blast though on the recovery. And gonna take one last red, I'm sure, and then go for the respawn. Misty tries for the super speed denial. It's actually gonna put him in worse spot. And John with a nice line to kind of reach back over and take that last little bit of value out of that spawn. Lead is 8 to John here. We do have a blue, and John goes for the double super speed, but a nice ultra blast by Mystrox to push him away from that line. And the lead is cut to 2 here. John gonna go all the way back for that super speed. Next spawn back on the far hill away from both players. Misty with a nice line to get there first. Lead has swung back the other way. John forced to take this last red. And he's going to get the blue for it. We had very nice positioning there. He's going to go all the way through, and that's might be trouble. But able to respawn quickly enough that it wasn't that big a deal. He's going to go up top here. Does not have a power-up, notably. But the spawn down below Misty, so wasn't super quick for Misty to get to. John going to go for this expired and the blast. Gonna leave that spawn to expire. Next spawn's gonna be pretty much in the same spot. Nice blast there by John, and Misty bounces over the yellow twice from what I saw, so very unfortunate there. And John going for the super speed denial, but he isn't accurate enough to do it. Ends up leaving himself with no power up, and Misty a little unlucky that spawn doesn't reward him as much as it could have. But John floundering a little bit here as we head into the last 10 seconds here. Next spawn's going to be closer to Misty, but John has a nice line on it. Doesn't realize that there's a double red there, and Misty able to sweep that one up. And the next spawn's going to be right behind both players. Misty might have enough time to get there. It's a tie, 90-90. Insane ending. The double spawn nearly fries both players, but they both recover in time to push it to a tie. Wow, what an ending. Which is going to push us to a game 3. It's still a 1-0 series in the favor of Mystrox. Promontory coming off the board instantly. Which leaves Tilo, Tilo, Prophetic, and Sacred. This is an extremely favored draft for Misty between Prophetic and Sacred. If you're John, yeah, Tilo off the board now. Prophetic and Sacred, those are 2 maps that I would imagine just absolutely favor Misty to an insane amount. Just 2 maps I feel like Mystrox is very, very good at. And we are going to go to Prophetic here, which is a map that does reward mechanical accuracy very, very much. So we're going to give John a minute here. I'm going to go ahead and ready up regardless, but so far been very it's been a great series so far, minus just the troll that happened on PCC. I mean, the finish on Cube IO was phenomenal. Just so unfortunate for John. Just those couple mistakes to cost him so much of those spawns. It was just brutal. But yeah, other than that, it's been fun to watch so far. All right, we are ready to go on.
Ready. Set.
Prophetic here. The first
Go.
one's going to be all the way across the map, already splitting up, and John already hitting a block right in the face. But able to get over there eventually. The blast doesn't land, neither does the Mega, and it's going to be 7-0 on the first spawn. John going to go default for a blast and a super jump. And next one's going to be across from both players. Both players have the super jump. Misty gets blasted off, but recovers pretty well. And actually, the respawn, because Misty had fallen out without touching anything, the respawn put Misty all the way back across the map. So John able to get that pretty much that entire spawn to himself, and it's 8-8 now. John with another blast attempt. Misty blasts him. Oh, doesn't knock him all the way down, though. I thought for sure John was going to go flying. Able to pretty much equalize again on this spawn. It's 13-12 towards, sorry, it's going to be 13-13 toward, 13-13 tie. Next spawn's going to be back across in the Matrix section. Misty with a more controlled line to get most of the value of that spawn, and John kind of flew over it. But able to gonna pre-pop the gyro here and grab the super speed. I do like that, but John unable to recover. Not sure you needed to spend the super speed there, just go out of bounds. Next respawn is going to put John further away from the gems, and it's an 11-point lead towards Mystrox here. It's going to be one of those all red spawns with this that's in a straight line. John able to scoop up a few of them on his way through, but Mystrox going to be able to grab the rest. But he's more than happy to let some time run off the clock first. Just slow the tempo down a little bit. We do have one of these annoying hole spawns, I guess. I don't know what to call them. John gonna go for the sweep, doesn't land it. Misty gonna leave the last yellow there. Can't edge hit up, and it's gonna put John in a place where he can grab most of these, but Misty with a blast gonna push John away from it. Next spawn's gonna be all the way up top over here. Misty falls short, and John goes for the mega pop to get there, which is very nicely done, and knocks Misty all the way away from it. He's going to leave the last red, going to come over to take this expired instead. He's got the gyrocopter now. Misty's got the super speed, though. Next spawn's going to be way far away. Misty goes for the blast. It's going to push John away, but he is able to get one of those yellows. It's a tie game again. We're going to head back to the, I don't know what to call this section, the islands section, I guess is what I'll call it. And the lead is now just 1 for Mystrox after being up quite a little bit. Misty does stumble a little bit there. John gonna go tie the game back up again, and the next spawn's going to be very favorable for John, just with the momentum he had, but Misty able to push him away from it and take a 1-point lead out of it. But John is going to equalize 65-65 as we head into the last 2 minutes here, and on a map that I thought for sure would have more heavily favored Mystrox. And Misty going to be able to get up through into the holes section. John's going to push him away, able to take a couple of these gems, but the lead is 8. And John going for one of these super jumps over here. The island section returns. Misty with a nice controlled line on it, but unable to secure a line on this next section is going to cost him pretty much the whole thing, I'd imagine. Yeah, John's able to take it, lead down to 5 now. John going to go for this super speed here. It's going to be a super jump here for Misty, and the next spawn's going to be one that you do need a super jump to get to if you're in John's position. So it's entirely favored to Misty, and he goes for the Mega Marble, and it's actually going to be very nice because he's able to just get through that whole section just fine, but he does fall. Very unfortunate. Unable to scoop up either of those yellows. He's going to have to go back for it if he wants it, and he's not going to take it. Misty uses 2 super jumps to get over to this next spawn. Very nicely done. And that lead suddenly balloons up to 20 points. Next spawn's going to be back in the section with all the blocks. And Misty with a very controlled gyrocopter line to get there quickly. And the lead is just 18. On a map like this, that is one big spawn, but it's not going to be this one. John's going to need to get this cleared very quickly while also getting all the value out of it. So not looking very good for him, but he is very quick with it. And we do have another spawn coming, and he does have the Mega Marble. If he's able to clear most of the spawn without Misty getting it, this could be huge, but it's just not going to be enough. Oh, it double spawns! And Misty with a very nice super speed line to control and get the game-winning spawn. So it's going to be 121-110. Insane ending once again. Yeah, as Frostfire says, fumble in the tricky middle area on those 2 yellows was absolutely fatal there. Misty takes a 2-0 series lead here as we head into game 4. Which sounds wrong saying, the math doesn't math there, but there was the tie. And this does look to me to be a John favored draft, which is what John might need to get back into this series. Vortex Effect coming off the board from Mystrox, that does track. John is very solid on Vortex Effect. I'd say if you're John, you got to get rid of Skate Battle Royale here. But he bans Requisite instead, which I think it means we're going to get a Skate Battle Royale pick. I do think John is very solid on Vibrancy grounds, although I do remember MBO beating him on there. Although MBO is the world record holder on Vibrancy, so there's something to be said for that. That said, I do think in terms of mechanical skill, you gotta go if you're Misty here, you gotta go Skate Battle Royale, but we'll see. Definitely a tough pick for these 2 players, and we are gonna go to Skate Battle Royale after all. Misty noting that there were 0 blues on that Prophetic round. It does happen every now and then, but it's not a super common thing. So Misty up 2-0 as we head into the 4th game of this series. And we will see how this goes. It's going to be an all-red pipe spawn to begin, and Misty uses the rug nicely to shoot off and take the first one. John going to go all the way through, isn't going to be able to get to that super jump in time. This might cook him, and it will cook him. He can't get any of it. And then Misty, but oh, very fortunate for John there not to get mega'd, and Misty unable to deny John that blue. They end up splitting it, so it's going to be a 1-point lead here for John. John going to go underneath for that last red, and it's going to put him in a very awkward position, and Misty in great position to go just take this entire spawn from John. John's smartly going to take that, not take that. Oh, and a great mega. It's going to cook Misty. Misty got sent so far away while trying to super speed, and John going to hit him with the Mega Marble Kids. It's going to be a 1-point lead to Misty, so not the end of the world. If there were a blue there, that would have been a real momentum killer for Misty, but John happy to sit again in the half pipe. It's not the greatest default, I must say, but hasn't really hurt him so far. Misty gonna go flying away. Might be able to land this yellow anyway. Very nicely done. Lead is gonna be 1 point to John after this spawn. John gonna go all the way up top, take the gyrocopter. Misty underneath with the super jump, and oh, John preempts the blue and gets it. Gonna be the first blue of the game that John gets all to himself. The other one was split, and so the lead is 8. And gonna go try to push Misty away, but it doesn't do anything. Misty just stands there like, what was that for? And they're gonna split this super jump. Misty gonna go preempt the blue. John takes the risk. In hopes that there's gonna be no blue up there, because if there were a blue up there, that would have been devastating. Next one is gonna be up top, and John's gonna hit his head. Misty realizes that and goes back to take the other super jump away from John, and John gonna be forced to go underneath to try to come up to the spawn, and it's gonna give Misty the entire spawn. Again, very lucky that there were no blues there, but John gets rewarded for his troll play there with the blue down below. Next spawn's going to be in the direction Misty was already heading, but John quicker to react to it, I think. And both players going to go for this same yellow. John gets the yellow. Misty, they're going to go for these two reds. John gets two. Misty gets one. It's an 11-point lead to John here. John just kind of sitting and watching. He's got the Mega Marble on standby. And there's going to be a blue here. And Misty's going to be able to get that one all to himself. But there is that yellow. I suspect John's going to go for it. He is going to go for that expired yellow. And this expired red over here. It's going to add more time to the comp timer as well. And this next one is going to be pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. It's all reds. 69-62 the score. They're going to go to opposite sides. Misty's going to preempt the blue, but it's going to be on the exact spot he pretty much just left from. And John, going for some more Mega Marble plays, pushes Misty away from both super jumps. Next one's going to be closer to Misty, but John going to be able to get probably a pretty nice line on it. Unable to actually scoop up a lot of the value he was going for. John hesitates, thinks about going for that last red, ends up going all the way up. And it's going to give Misty a nice opportunity to tie the game or take this lead back. John is going to take that last yellow there and leave the last red. But no, he's not. He's going for the last red. Misty in better position again. John able to react quickly. Isn't going to be able to get over to that yellow, though, which is going to allow Misty to tie this game right back up again. Misty going to leave two last reds here. I wonder if he's baiting John into taking these and putting himself in a bad position, and this looks like it might be the case because Misty once again in much better position. Next one's going to be closer to John a little bit, but Misty reacts first. Lead is 3 to Misty. Misty going to drop down into the half pipe, and the next spawn's going to be close to John here. John able to take a very controlled line. 3 points, still the lead here. There is a yellow left. Misty going to go for it. John going to go for it. Some expireds. Next spawn super close to John. We have the glitch. We have the glitch. Oh my god, what do we do in this scenario? What do we do? If I'm John, I'm absolutely furious. Because his spawn that he was going to was the original spawn that showed up. And he did end up losing by 1. Okay, we are going to Yeah, okay. We're going to do a replay. So our second replay of the game here. We're gonna discard the scores. Um,
Ready. Set.
and we
Go.
are going to be underway on the. I'm gonna call it the second tie of the series here. John gonna be up 1 point to start. Both players gonna go straight back up. The series has turned into quite something, hasn't it? Misty with a nice line to kind of rebound back down after taking the yellow, but John sweeps through here. Again, gonna sit in the bottom. I don't think it's the best strategy, but it's clearly something he likes to do. John does miss that red. It wouldn't shock me to see him go back down for it, though. Man, this was a super split up spawn here. And John gets his expired red stolen. Misty gonna go for that. And he's gonna... John goes for the murder ball, but it doesn't work. Misty realizes John's gonna get a better respawn and just calls it off there. John gonna drop underneath. We do have a blue here. John's got the super jump route for it, and he's gonna beat Misty there just barely, and Misty does hit his head, so forced down back into the pipe, and all of the spawn is pretty much up on top here, so unfortunate there for Misty. And John again content to leave some of these reds behind. Misty is gonna go up top here. John's gonna pop this mega, pop another mega, go up top, and Misty hits him with the Matador routine. John's gonna have to go underneath for this blue. It's gonna be all his again. John's 2-0 up on the blues here. And all the way up top goes John. It's gonna be down in the half pipe, very kind of inconsequential spawn. But then again, we did just see a 1-point win. These spawns are not always inconsequential. We do have a blue here. Maybe John's able to react to it first. Misty gets to it first, after all. It's a 1-point lead to Misty here. That blue just completely swung this game on its head. And we do have another spawn in. Where is John headed here? John goes the complete wrong direction. But it's not going to hurt him too much because of how split up this spawn actually was. He's going to have to pretty much go all the way back across for this. Oh my gosh, there he goes with the Mega Marble launch. 4 points the lead here for Misty. As we head into the back half of this game. John, once again, unable to connect with the Mega Marbles, and he's going to leave the half pipe. He's leaving so many gems down there. I think he's realizing that he's just, I wonder if he's going to realize how much value he's actually leaving for Misty to go collect later, because Misty does love himself an expired red. And John going to go bowling again, and take some more reds down from this half pipe. Misty swipes that one from him, though. And then John misses that one. So very unfortunate. Lead is 10 points now in the favor of Misty. And John gets a terrible respawn. He ends up down in the half pipe. And this lead is ballooning up to 15 points now. Next spawn is going to be very low value. This game started out so well for John, too. Getting those 2 blues all to himself. And just since then, it's been all Misty. John very much a momentum-based player, and sometimes that momentum can just swing back the other way, and it can really hurt him. John gonna go for the blue steal. He misses! That's so unfortunate. It's gonna be 2-2 on the blues now. That red difference is absolutely criminal. It is currently 52-20 on the reds. Literally, the entire lead is made up of Misty's reds. Just absolutely insane. And Misty in great position for this blue here, but John gonna steal it from him. There's just not enough time on a map that's this low scoring, I don't think. It's hard to make up this kind of difference so quickly, even with the new changes. So John, very, I think, unfortunate not to have won the initial game, but They both agreed to the replay. They both agreed that's how this game should be determined, so can't fault him for playing it again. And the next spawn's going to be right behind both players. These are the kinds of spawns. If John had been just by himself this whole time, he might be able to have made up this comeback, but Misty's been with him every step of the way. So it's going to be a pretty commanding Misty win here on Escape Battle Royale after all. Despite the first game being just so close, Misty able to take that little pause and kind of regroup, and John gonna go flying, and that's gonna be game over. Just absolutely criminal difference on the Reds there. Let me go. Score 1 was 69. Score 2 was 104. So Misty gonna take the 3-0 series lead as we head into what is essentially game 6. We're gonna say there's been 2 ties, I guess. Another pool of maps that I think Jean can be very happy with here. Playground, Megas, Epicenter, Pyramid, and Marbleland being the picks. I suspect, again, he's probably going to angle towards Playground. It's a map that I think he'd be very happy with. Playground gone again by Misty. Again, not super shocking. Which leaves us with Megas, Epicenter, Pyramid, and Marbleland. And as insane as it sounds, considering we're heading into a game 6, this will determine whether or not Misty just 4-0s John straight out, which is, again, insane considering that we've had to play 6 games to even get to that conclusion. Epicenter off the board, which leaves us with Megas, Pyramid, and Marbleland. If I'm John, I am not playing Pyramid against Misty. The blasts on that map are absolutely lethal. And he agrees with me, so we're going to go to Megas here. This is just so unfortunate, because, I mean, you could really argue that John this should be like a 2-2 series right now, or, I guess, yeah, Q-Bile would have been the tie. Yeah, this could honestly realistically be a 2-2 series, but John just, lacking that little bit of luck he needs to get over the hump. Gonna wait for them to ready up, and I'll give them their little countdown. I'll note John has played this map in the regular season. He played it against me in a game 5 scenario, and did end up losing that game. But we shall see how this goes for him against a player that we did have the double blue to start. This could be an absolutely disastrous start for either player if they don't end up getting there quickly. Jean, with a nice start, ends up getting all the way over to it, is going to take that one, and able to drop down to get it all to himself. He's got both blues to start the game. That is absolutely massive. A 10-point advantage right out the gates. And John, I mean, that's so fortunate for him to start out that game with that 10-0 run basically right to start. We do have another blue up top, and Misty's got the blast. He's gonna be able to drop down on top of it. That blast is probably one of the most annoying things that can happen in this game. That one in particular, where it's already hard enough trick shot to land without getting blasted. Misty gonna force the next spawn. He's gonna get rewarded for it because he had better momentum. John coming in with the gyro, ends up being able to kind of resist that blast, and gonna push Misty away from the super speed. This could be huge, and it is with the amount of traversal he has to do there. Misty gonna go for the Mega Marble launch. It doesn't get him as close to the spawn as I'm sure as he would have liked. Probably going to take that expire as he heads back through. Going to grab the blast. And he's got the super speed. Jean has to route back around because he's behind like the little tower thing. Able to stick the landing, but the lead has completely evaporated. It's just down to 3 points now. Misty going to pop the Mega Marble and go and grab the super speed. Next spawn's going to be favored to Misty, but John able to navigate it nicely regardless. Next spawn, going to be all the way up top. John's not going to have... Oh my gosh. Yeah. But John falls regardless. That's so unfortunate. And the lead has completely swung back around to Misty here. It's a 5-point Misty lead after John started out with that 10-0 lead on the double blue. Misty wins that blast off. And gonna get Mega there. I suspect John's gonna go for these 2 expireds, which is very smart play here. But isn't able to get up to it very quickly, so he's gonna have to go for the next spawn. Next spawn's not gonna be super big, and the lead holds at 5 here. Next one's going to be back behind both players. Misty with a nice blast, and John overshoots entirely. And the lead gets back up to 10 now for Misty. He's going to take that last red, force the next spawn. We do have a blue here. It's going to force John way closer to it, but he doesn't land it. Able to get it on the respawn, though. Going to blast Misty out of bounds. Misty forced to respawn here. Going to go for that expired and the gyrocopter. Lead down to 4 now with last 2 minutes to play. It's going to be one of these really tiny spawns next. Megas has this weird ability to spawn just the tiniest things for no reason. And, they go for the Mega Marble War, and it's going to end up helping Misty a lot more than helping John. Although he is forced to take a super airtime heavy line. I'm not sure what happened there. Lead is holding at 5. Next spawn's going to be over on the tower area castle thing. And Misty able to get the yellow. I think they'd be wise to leave the last red they are. And John going to take an expired. Next spawn's going to be over on the side here with the yellow. Misty unable to get up with the blast. And John going to use his to get up. Able to cut the lead back down to 4. He's going to leave. He could have gone for that expired yellow, but he doesn't. And John's slow to react to that. Misty, I'm sure, has the blast, but he again can't get up to it. And John again leaving this expired yellow. I feel like he could really benefit from it. Next spawn's going to be all the way back on the castle. Both players have the blast. John survives, uses the super speed. Misty ends up landing on top of the yellow. John... the nerves must be getting to him. I'm telling you. He's struggling a lot with some pretty basic movement here. And the next spawn's going to be back behind John. Does end up blasting Misty. And again, not going for the expireds. I feel like he would benefit so much from them. Bleed is 1 here. We have another decent value spawn. Again, Misty's struggling with this traversal, and John going to be forced to go for these expireds. He's finally going to go for this expired yellow, but Misty's going to steal it from him. John going to be forced to take the next one. We do have a blue. John going to go for the red and wins by 1. John survives by the seat of his pants nearly. We have another tie. Absolutely phenomenal composure by John to realize there wasn't enough time and goes for the red down below instead. So we are now in basically a game 7. But at the same time, it's
Mega Marble Kids.
Yeah, we're heading into quote unquote game 7, but it's actually only game 5. John down 3-1 in the series. Misty known for maybe getting a little nervous in moments like this, so we'll see if the nerves come back to bite him a little bit. If you're John, you got to get rid of parkour peaks here. Yeah, I thought so. And we're gonna be between Tilo and Lupus, and if I'm, yeah, I was gonna say if you're Misty, you probably want to go Lupus. It's a map that doesn't require a ton of melee play, and melee play is kind of what John's known for. So, John hanging on by the skin of his teeth here. Let's see if he's able to keep his series alive here. The loser of this series will go on to play a game in the loser's bracket. The winner will advance to play Frostfire.
Thank you, Rare.
Ready,
And we have a blue
set,
immediately to start us off with.
go.
We'll see how these players want to get to it. It's going to be in the basement. This is where Ashburn Ketchum was found dead. And John going to hop over the last red. And then we do have another blue, and it's going to favor Misty. I think he's got the right stuff with the traversal. And he does. He's got the Vulture Blast. John did not have a blast at all for that. And the lead is doubled up. It's 18-9 here. John going to go for the Mega Marble Pop to traverse quickly. Misty a little slower to it. And John able to swipe it up, and then the Mega Marble coming out for Misty. John able to get the super speed though, and he's going to be able to come and get this blast. And there's a blue again. And John able to snatch that one and the yellow. And Misty going to go all the way through. Unable to slow down very much, so it's gonna be John stealing the lead right back from him, and he's got the super jump and the blast. He's gonna switch out the super jump for the super speed, and he's gonna hit the wall, and Misty ends up stealing the blue anyway. That blue has shown up 3 times already this game. Absolutely insane amount for a blue that honestly is not very common. And we have another up top spawn here. John gonna go for the respawn abuse, probably smart. Misty going to go for the more valuable line up top, and John forced to pop the Mega and use up his Ultra Blast, so no melee for him on this spawn. John going to go flying out of bounds after taking that, and he gets a great respawn for this next spawn. Eight-point lead here for Misty. Next spawn's going to favor him as well, but John, again, with some nice traversal. 10-point lead for Misty. We're going to head as we head into the last 3 minutes. He's going to push, John's going to push Misty down the slope, but Misty with another nice recovery to take that yellow anyway. And John sitting there realizing he has the Mega. He can't slow down in time. He got Misty, but he is still going to be favored for this spawn because Misty got a respawn all the way down below. A very nice Mega Marble attempt there, but it isn't really going to help him that much because he just couldn't slow down. And then the edge hit there. Oh dear. John flailing around a little bit as we head into the back half now of Tilo. 16 points the lead here with 2:20 left to play. Next spawn's going to be closer to John. That's what he needs, but it's so split up, and Misty able to swipe a lot of value out of it too. And then Misty tries to go for the Mega Marble push there, but it's just not going to work. John has to go for some more advanced tricks. Misty with a much simpler line, and the lead is up to 20, and the prediction that this was going to be the longest 4-0 ever is looking to be holding true, barring a John miracle here, or sorry, not the longest 4-0, because John won again. Never mind. What am I saying? The predictions, I mean, this is still going to be a long 5-game series regardless. Either way, this has been a very long series for what is boiling down to a 4-1 win. Again, barring a John miracle here, but Misty determined to make sure that doesn't happen here. Oh, we do have a blue up top, but John should be able to get all to himself. And that is that the start of something here for John is the question. If it's gonna be any time. It's gonna have to be now. John, the double blue. It respawns. And John able to drop back down on top. The lead has fallen all the way down to 10. John going to be able to get a pretty okay line on this one too. And he's going to have to take that one. We have another blue. Misty falls. John going to be able to get that one all to himself. It is suddenly now just a 5-point game. Has this been another announcer jinx of doom on my part? They're going for distance plays here. And Misty going to get a slight reward here. And the Misty, very composed, able to get up all those. Oh my god, we have another double blue. If John's able to get this all to himself, it's going to be huge for him. Gets the first blue all to himself, splits the second one with Misty. He's going to be faster up this slope too. This lead has fallen all the way down to 3. Misty going to take the last one. We have another blue. John going to be quicker to it, I think. Gets it to himself. Misty, smartly. No, John, you can't. No. He pops the mega a little too soon, and oh no. An absolutely frantic ending, and Misty's going to take this game 8-4 on the Blues towards John, but the yellow gems 28-14 to Misty. Insane. Insane ending. John very nearly kept his series alive once again in the last dying seconds, but the Mega Marble Pop just doesn't work out for him. Misty going to take the series a 4-1. Honestly, thriller. Just absolutely insane series across the board.
Hello.
Hey, Misty. How you feeling?
Shall we get the elephant out of the way?
Yeah.
Skate Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I think a replay was probably the best idea because neither of us. That's never happened in a tournament to begin with.
No,
And it's
that
never
is
happened
never.
at such a high stakes moment.
And
let
yeah,
alone-
for it to be the last, the last spawn.
literally 1 point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really really weird. I think the best course of action was to have a replay because neither of us knew what was going on. It's just a shame the replay then. In a way, it sort of favored me because I had a way to like, oh, you know, at that point, I'm a little bit more warmed up on the map, and this next map is a bit more dominant.
Yeah.
But
It's
the same could have been said for Jean. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna ask you about that last minute on Tilo there, of course. How are you?
Lifelines,
I'm sure your heart rate.
lifelines.
Yeah.
Just how many blues can we throw this man? I didn't play it particularly well, as tends to be the case in my last minute. I think I'm getting better in my last minutes. It wasn't quite, you know, versus Endy on Triple Decker catastrophic, but it also wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Jean played a very, very good series. I know he's been pretty ill recently. Apparently he's feeling okay at the moment, but
Yeah.
for him to have held it as close as he did on so many maps, like we tied once, twice, and
He did briefly retake the lead there on Tilo at the end there. That was that had to be scary, man.
I think I made the correct
You
play
did.
there. I just decided screw the blue. If I just get some gems here, I'm fine.
Yeah, and that's the right play in that moment. But honestly, it's very hard to think about. So props to you for even.
Yeah, I was like, do I go for the blue? Because did my mega hit him? I can't see him, but I hear the super jump. It's like, no, that did not hit him. So just go for that. And he had a mega as well. Really, what won me that was the fact he got caught down in that cubby. I'm not even sure how.
He didn't time the mega pop correctly. And so it just didn't really do anything, and he didn't have blast, so he couldn't get up, and that's really what did him in there. If he had the mega pop in time, I think he ends up winning that game, to be honest, because I think he knocks you away from everything else.
We have a moment from Shadow here. Apparently, Turk versus Robert on Terrace Tundra happened. This must have been a previous year. This is the Skate Battle Royale double spawn.
Yeah.
And John's bringing it up. Cubile last spawn. Holy light! You know, I'm talking about Jean getting lifelines in Tilo. That last spawn.
Yeah.
That was pretty lucky. I'll be honest. He played a very, very solid round of Cubile. I'm amazed I managed to tie that.
Yeah,
I
and
had to get lucky too.
you are the third Challenger Division player to advance to the second round here by beating a Contender Division player.
I did it,
I'm
DK.
I'm gonna ask, do you think that there's any case for, maybe there is that bit of, when I did my midseason review, I did kind of I kept the division lines pretty standard. Do you think there's a case to be made now that maybe there was a little more blurring of the contender challenger division line than I alluded to?
This is your like power scaling tier list, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, though I think you were fair to not rank us above them because you literally didn't have the data. Literally everyone in Contender is amazing. But we've seen, I mean, DK pulled off a massive upset. ND versus MBO. You said they were, roughly even,
Roughly
and
equal,
so they
I'd
were.
say, yeah.
And myself versus Jean was always going to be close. He himself is saying it was close. Yeah, that was not a 4-1 match.
No, absolutely not.
I
And I do feel bad because I did almost, I almost announced or jinxed you from hell on Tilo. I'm not
Can
gonna
you
lie.
stop?
I did, dude. I was like, unless John starts getting every
Can
blue
you
spawn known to
stop
man, this
doing
game is
that?
over.
Can you stop? That happened on Triple Decker as well. Please. My God.
I've almost trolled you I almost trolled you, dude. It was so bad.
Yeah, I would say probably PCC was my best round out of the bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with
PCC,
that.
I played very well. There were a lot of things I could have done better that I probably would have noticed in a casual round, but I was just playing it safe, I think. Which I can't afford to do next week. But this is look, personally speaking, this is actually massive because I've alluded to it a couple times. Jean is the person who I first started playing multiplayer with. This is back in 2021. And he always kicked my ass so hard. Like he would win 20 and I would win 1.
Yeah.
And it got better over time to the point where we were like a 3-1 match in his favor. So coming into this, I always viewed myself as like the challenger, no matter what anyone else thought. I always thought going into this, I am the challenger who needs to finally prove I'm better than my old master,
Yeah.
And this is big. This
I'm sure it
really
feels
does feel good for me. Even if Jean wasn't feeling physically at 100%, he put up an amazing fight. I'll be honest, his performance today was generally indistinguishable from our practice matches by large.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't have any other questions for you. Those are my main ones off the top of my head. I want to thank you for such an entertaining series.
You're welcome.
Regardless of, a 4-1 that felt almost more like a 4-3.
Yeah. We definitely need to fix that bug.
Yeah, I don't even know what causes it specifically, but it's such an
with
unfortunate bug because John did pretty much have that what should have been the entire last spawn to himself.
Yeah, but there's also an argument made that
too.
like I would have had different decision making in that moment had it not been right there, because my brain just sees, oh, there's a bunch of reds and he's probably gonna get to that one first. Go for the reds.
Yeah.
Like what? There's no thinking involved there.
Yeah.
Is it actually like? Wait, which one is actually the spawn that should have happened? Because the expired one implies something else happened to trigger another spawn. Is the expired the one that should have happened?
Yeah, the expired one is the one that should have happened because I want to say what happens is it's like if you pick up the last
If you do like an expired right as it's about to spawn, like borderline frame perfects.
Yeah, it's like borderline frame perfect on it. And so I think what happens is it spawns the first one, but then it's like, oh wait, I have to spawn a new one because the last spawn's ended.
Yeah.
So
So
then
technically speaking,
I
actually got the spawn.
I don't think. I think it's the other way around. I think I
Really?
think it's the other way around because it spawns the first one because the spawn was ending already because the comp timer, and then it
I
spawns
would've
the
ex- I would've
second one because
expected
because you
like
picked up the last one.
expireds implicate that a next spawn had to happen in order to make them expired.
I don't know. Either way,
I
think
don't know either.
I don't
It's a
know
weird
how it works.
situation.
It's a weird thing, but I'm thinking it has to be the first spawn that comes up is the one that gets becomes expired. So that's my logic. That's my
So
thought process.
it's a weird situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to get that bug fixed. I think in my head it would have just been the pure red one then, because that was the one that was expired. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a shitty situation. I'm just glad we rematched.
Yep. Absolutely. So either way, congrats. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the recording now. So
Goodbye, Smallville.